we've had the launch, we've had the testing, and now we're about ready to get going in Australia. So today I want to give you my F1 season 2025 predictions. Now, a disclaimer to start with, my predictions, they're not based on stats, they're not based on fact, and they're going off what I've seen in testing and what I think might happen, and also a little bit of bias on what I hope might happen. I know a lot about F1, but I don't know a lot about aerodynamics. That is just not my field. But my predictions, they're probably going to be wrong. They're not going to be amazing, but I want to give you them anyway because everyone's entitled to an opinion, and I want to give my opinion. So I'm just going to get going with my predictions. Now, I've been thinking how I'm going to start this. I think I just want to get my big ones out of the way. So my driver's champion for this year. Now, I'm not going to lie, this was very tricky. It was really hard to pick one. I've been thinking I feel like it's going to be so close. And with the field as it is, there's so many drivers that I think could take it, but I'm kind of rambling at this point. So, my driver's champion, I have gone for Charles Leclerc in Ferrari. Now, you may be thinking, you're wearing a Ferrari hat. Of course he's going to say that. But I have some reasons. The McLaren is definitely fast, and there's no doubt about that. It's clear that Lando is going to have a good season, and Piastri is probably going to have a good season too. But with Lando, I just have too many question marks and doubts about his ability to win a world championship. I think he is world championship material, and I feel like I just conflicted myself by what I just said. But last season we've seen a lot of mistakes. You know, his race starts wasn't great. He had too many slip ups in what I thought was the fastest car compared to the Red Bull at many points. I feel like other people in that McLaren could have put up more of a challenge. And that may be harsh, but it's the reality. If you want to be a world champion, you've got to do everything right. And I'm just not sure if him and McLaren are up to that over a full season. And now you might be thinking, how do you think Ferrari are up to that? Now, I just think with Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton together, I think it's a great team dynamic. I think they're going to push each other to high levels. And on the other hand, you might think, well, if you think Charles Leclerc is going to win, why don't you think Lewis Hamilton's going to win? He's a 7-time world champion. For Lewis, I think it could take him a few races to get going. But also, on the other hand, in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's Lewis Hamilton. If he has a fast enough car, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes on and has an amazing season. I will never write Lewis off, but this is why the prediction was so hard. There's so many possibilities. You can't really write Verstappen off either. But my gut and my brain, a little bit my heart is saying Charles Leclerc is going to be his season. Now, don't come for me. These are my predictions. Let me know what you think down below. Now, next up, from my Constructors Champions, I have gone for Ferrari. Now, that might make sense because I've chosen Leclerc. I just think Leclerc and Hamilton, I feel like the Ferrari is going to be pretty up there, if not roundabout up there. And with Leclerc and Hamilton, they're such a strong pairing. I think they just get you points week in and week out. And if the Ferrari is competitive enough, I just think that over a season, they can maybe outscore the McLarens and the Red Bulls and the Mercedes. Again, it's going to be tight. There's no doubt about that. But I just feel like Ferrari are going to have the edge on this. Red Bull have Verstappen. I'm not sure how fast they're going to be. Lawson's a bit unknown. Mercedes, they have George Russell and an unknown Antonelli. So I think Ferrari have the strongest lineup, and I think it's a safe bet to put them as Constructors Champions. Now, for my rookie of the season, again, this was really tough. There's a lot of rookies on the grid this season, but I've chosen to go for Ollie Behrman. Now, some might say he is not an actual rookie, but in my eyes, he's a rookie. He's only competed in a few races. This is his full season as an F1 driver, and I just think that he is ridiculously talented from what I've seen. The races he has done, he's performed pretty well. When he got on the Ferrari and jumped in and performed like he did, I think it was pretty exceptional. And I'm not going to lie, I haven't seen much of the other rookies, so I'm kind of going on what I've seen. I've heard a lot about Antonelli and how he's meant to be the next big thing, but I just haven't seen enough of myself. And from what I have seen from Ollie Behrman, I think he's the real deal. I think he's going to put up a good fight, and hopefully the Haas is good enough for him to get some points this season. I really do think it's going to be a breakthrough campaign for Ollie Behrman, and I'm super glad he's on the grid. Now we have my surprise of the season. Now my surprise of the season is, I don't know if this is actually a surprise, it's going to be Williams. On the back of testing, I just think the Williams looks like they've made some great progress. And with Alex Albon and with Carlos Sainz joining the team, I just think it's probably one of the best driver lineups. We all know how capable Alex Albon is, and Carlos Sainz is no slouch either. You don't drive for Ferrari if you're not a very, very top level driver. And I think that with them two together, they're going to bring out the best in the Williams, and they're going to be able to get points consistently, especially after testing. And so Williams is kind of looking like the fifth fastest team. And I think that would be a great achievement. Always kind of had a soft spot for Williams. I don't know why. I just feel like everybody kind of has a soft spot for Williams. You want to see them do well. You want to see them get some points. And I feel like they might be on their way up. Yeah, that's why for my surprise of the season, I've gone Williams. Last but not least, my flop of the season. For flop of the season, I've gone for Aston Martin. Now, they make all these promises every year about how they're going to make a championship winning car, and they had a lot of promise. They had a lot of hype. Their car was performing at the start of these regulations, and to go backwards like they have, instead of like teams like McLaren who have taken a step forward, I just think it's not good enough. And I think their focus this year is going to be focusing on the 2026 regulations rather than this year. And I think that's probably ideal for them with Adrian Newey coming in. And after testing, they just looked not good enough. Also, Lance Stroll, I feel like he shouldn't be in a seat. There's much more, I think, better drivers that deserve that seat. But obviously, he's never going to go anywhere because his dad owns the team. I just feel like they look not good enough. And I feel like they're not making enough progress. I just can't get over how where they were, how they've fallen so far back. They might be near the back of the grid by the looks of things. Again, I'm going off testing. We don't know this, but I feel like Aston Martin is just going to get worse for them in this season. So I guess we'll see how that turns out. These are my predictions. Let me know down below your predictions. I'll be interested to see everyone's different takes. Let me know what you agree with. Let me know what you disagree with. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a like. Also, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more. I'm going to be covering a lot this season. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And let's get racing in Australia.